and open the floodgates.
Open the floodgates. Here we go. Happy Friday night. Happy second Friday of the month.
Yes.
I always look forward to this one.
Actually amazing spring day, and the best way to finish the day is with a session of G&Ts.
With a couple of cheeky G&Ts, and I don't know where, we've got around tonight. And where we are right now in Melbourne, we haven't been able to enjoy a G&T for a long time at a bar, so it is particularly welcoming. We are so excited for tonight. South Australia is always like one of the highlights of the gin tour for many, many good reasons. And it's the craft distilling scene there. It's the artisanal side of the state. It's everything that goes into these sensational gins, the producers, the whole kit and caboodle. And we've got the best of the best tonight.
Yeah.
We've got some really
actually,
stuff.
yeah. This is like the big league, I would say. This is like, this South Australia has been distilling for so long, that this is probably like it will see like Calcio or Premier League, so it's good.
The cream of the crop.
The cream of the crop.
Obviously, we've got a little bit of a different setup here than we normally do. This is the new shop that we're working on at the moment. We'll hopefully be open very soon, actually, as early as next week, maybe. But a little bit of a different setup here. And we're super excited by this as well. There's going to be lots of G&Ts flowing here, and we'll tell you a little bit more about that later.
We're not full ready yet to open, so we did what we can, putting some stuff on the shelves today, and what looks like a bar is actually a retail store. So this is what we could find around, and just to have something nice. But you wait until you see the real thing, and it's gonna be.
These are just gins. These are just gins that we've opened and we like to drink. In terms of tonight, for those who haven't done a tasting with us before, we've got a lot of familiar faces in here. And also, just quickly before we say that, a big thank you for everyone's patience with the packs and with Australia Post. It's been a bit of a weird old time lately. I think everyone's probably had some sort of similar issue with something else they're posting or receiving. It's been a little bit...
Yeah, it's been challenging, but,
everyone's been super nice if there was a little delay or if it didn't quite get there in time. So thank you so much, guys.
Yeah, we're doing the best we can.
Yeah.
And, everyone's been really good accommodating and everything. So, which is good. But you know what, John, not talking so much and not having a drink.
It's like thirsty. It's like salivate dry. First of all, let's introduce the amazing people that are joining us tonight. Of course, as always, from Fever Tree, we've got the amazing Trish Brew. Hi, Trish.
Hi, guys. So good to be here. And as a couple of comments I've seen already, what a lineup. I'm really excited because there's a couple of gins in here that I cannot wait to try from some of the best distilleries, South Australia, and as I like to call it at the moment, the land of the free.
Yes. That's true. That's a good one, isn't it? That's a good one.
Oh, thank you. Stop it. It's going to be a good time.
Bring a tear to my eyes. Soon we'll be there.
It. Absolutely, Trish. Thank you for joining again and for sharing these beautiful tonics with us. The producers we've got with us tonight, the representatives from the distillery.
Yeah.
Let's start by saying g'day to our good friend Hugh. Hugh's no stranger to the gin tour. This might even be the second time you've been on the gin tour, but plenty of times you've joined us for a tasting. How are you, Hugh?
Yeah, excellent, mate. Thanks so much for having me back. I love getting to enjoy all the samples that you send out every time. And I love getting to chat to you guys and everyone else that we have in tonight. We got some awesome gins. I'm excited to talk about our new gin, Moonlight. It's gonna be a wicked night. For those who don't know, my name is Hugh. I'm I've got the pleasure of being the head distiller over at Prohibition and the CBD. So really excited to talk through these.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Matt, for joining. Hugh's going to be first cab off the rank with the Moonlight Gin. So as I introduce someone else, if you just can't wait to wet your whistle, pour a little bit of your Moonlight out, because that's going to be the first one we chat about. Secondly, let's introduce from Needle and Pin's Spirit. First time these guys have joined us. The story behind the distillery and this gin and everything is super amazing, and I can't wait to learn from Christian tonight. Thank you for joining for the first time, one of our gin tastings. How are you, man?
Thanks, mate. Very, very excited to be here and looking forward to trying a bunch of these amazing gins that you guys have sent out to us. So it should be a good night.
Absolutely awesome. Thank you, man, for joining. And there's a really fun story behind this distillery, and I can't wait to chat to you about
it's
it.
one of those distilleries we haven't had been before on our tasting, so it's great to get new blood.
That's what it's all about, learning about distilleries. Yep. We can't really go there at the moment, but being able to share these amazing distilleries and beautiful gins with everyone. So thanks for joining, Christian.
Thank you.
The Rossa Valley Distilling Co. We've got the amazing Zach, brand ambassador for Barossa Valley Distilling. We've had Barossa in a few times. First time you've joined us, Zach, which I'm super excited about. Thank you so much for joining, man.
Hey guys, thanks for having me. Really, really good to be here. I'm just sitting in the lovely Barossa Valley. Just finished up in the venue for the night, and really keen to drink some gin with you guys and let you know about the story and let you know about our brand new Australian garden gin. So thanks everyone for having us. Really keen.
Yeah.
Thank you, man. And
this friend of the house.
This gin has just literally been released very recently, and that's the case with almost all of these gins. In fact, they're super releases, and this one in particular. So it'd be great for everyone to get a little bit of a grasp of what's going on in this one to crack a little drop. So cheers for joining, man. We've got a massive friend of the house, someone who is a big, important part of Casa de Vinos and one of the most lively, amazing brand ambassadors going around. We're joined by Henry from Applewood. How are you, man?
Mate, I'm doing very well. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you for that oddly fantastic introduction. It's actually very rare that people describe me as well as you do. So I think you've got, that's just so lovely to hear. I'm unfortunately stuck in Melbourne. Unlike, I think everyone else stuck in Melbourne in terms of our presenters, or no, we obviously got Barossa Valley. You guys are still in South Australia, in the land of the free, as Trish said. But I am unfortunately stuck in Melbourne with you guys. But I'm really excited to try all these gins tonight because we have so many new releases, including the Applewood Alpine, which I'll be talking you guys through tonight. And I'm just really stoked to try some amazing gin. I'm really, really excited.
Yeah, that's
awesome.
Good to see you, Henry. It's you could think that you could be stuck somewhere else, we were. So, at least you're stuck in Melbourne.
True. Probably worst places in the world, but this Alpine gin is cracking. Of course, we are joined by the amazing Sean Baxter from Never Distilling Co. up there in McLaren Vale. Sean,
where's Sean?
He might not quite be with us yet. He mentioned he'd roll in a little bit later on because he's attending to some vines in McLaren Vale, but he'll join us later on to talk about this Jennifer hybrid spirit, not technically a gin, but a spirit that has great lineage in terms of gin, and it's one that I thought was pretty interesting to include and something that's going to be fun for us to chat about tonight. Thirsty, Jose?
Very. Just I need hydration.
All right, let's get a little bit of the Prohibition Moonlight Gin in our glass. So you got your 30 ml little sample there. Let's pour it as we always do. Let's have a little bit of a try of it by itself, or if you want to put a little bit of ice with it early on as well, you can. Just before we put the tonic and the garnish in there, and let's have a little chat to our good friend, Hugh.
Hello, guys. Hello. Again, thanks so much for having us on with our new Moonlight Gin. Obviously, it's got doing I suppose this is our foray into the world of pink gin, but we didn't want to do it kind of like everyone else. So we touched on using some pea flower, but we decided quite purposefully to keep it relatively dry, but with big kind of actually adding sugar. Yep. So butterfly pea flower, for those who don't know, is a really incredible flower that has a chemical called anethocyanin. Anethocyanin is very pH sensitive, so acid change will change the color of it, and we'll notice when we add the tonic water, it'll go from this really dark kind of midnight, really pretty thing. Post distillation as well, we also steep black goji berry, which is a member of the nightshade family, so we try to keep that aromatic right as well, and some hibiscus. Botanic wise, we have blood lime, sandalwood nuts, both blue and red juniper, this rare like really beautiful kind of like cranberry tart juniper. So it's a very like kind of like broad, kind of like esoteric botanic set. To me, on the nose, like it's lovely, it's lush, it's floral, and it's warming. I think hibiscus presents really, really well. It drinks real neat. Drinks really well as what we, but it is a real showstopper as a big, bright pink gin and tonic.
Yeah.
So I suppose if we were to dive into tonic, what tonic do you reckon we should use? You put it together?
Yeah. Hugh down there. Whereabouts are you coming to us from, Hugh? You're in like some seaside remote location.
I'm in Inman Valley. Look, how good's that?
Oh wow! Have a look at that.
Isn't that sick?
Wow, hey. That is amazing.
So down in the Fleurieu Peninsula in South Australia. Yeah, no, it's pretty luxe. So I'm coming from this beautiful part of the world. I've actually just wandered outside and I've picked some Illyria to garnish my
we're losing you
after I finish this.
A little bit shaky.
But we are
that part of the world, maybe.
I apologize.
No, all good, man. It's expected. I think I'll take that view for anything.
Maybe if it is a bit shaky, we should jump over to Trish to talk a bit about the tonic pairing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
Let's do that. We are going to go with the Fever Tree Indian for this one. And the grapefruit garnish. It's absolutely delicious, and I would love to jump over to Trish and have a little bit of a chat with Trish. What do you reckon about this gin and the Fever Tree and the pairing? Amazing.
I think it's absolutely fabulous. Firstly, I'm so jealous of Hugh and where he is in the world. Just generally, by the way, because like Prohibition's in a pretty good spot. But very lucky Hugh. I have tried this one actually a few times. I'm really lucky enough to be good friends with the guys at Prohibition. So I've tried this a couple of times and I just love it. I think, flavored gin, colored gin, it's just really fun. And this one is so powerful and it's just gorgeous way to start. Super loving this one with the Indian tonic, which is again a really powerful tonic water, based off that medicine style, which I'm sure most of you have heard me rave about 100 times. But we use the world's best quinine from the Democratic Republic of Congo, which is really clean and mostly bitter, even if you typically don't like those bitter tonics. We also use Mexican bitter orange oil, coriander, and marigold flower. So I think that sharpness, floralness, and zest goes so well with this gin. I'd love to know what you guys think.
I absolutely love this. It's delicious.
And, it is amazing.
And I think with like the tonic pairing, this is one of those like rock star gins that I feel like could shine differently with various tonics, like refreshingly light Mediterranean, maybe a little bit more of that floral would pop through, perhaps some of those Pink Lady apples you distill in there.
Even elderflower, something like very lifted.
I honestly think that this is a great bottle of gin to have at home on your shelf because it's a fun one to experiment with. The nature of the amazing botanical profile that's in there, it's just a cracking gin and one that's party starter, isn't it? With that pink hue to it. The botanicals that go into this one here. I'm super interested. And obviously, you're such a true distiller there, talking about walking the coast and you're picking things and you're probably thinking about taking them back and putting them in the still. In terms of this one, I think that Pink Lady is like a key component, which I find super duper interesting. What's some sort of interesting botanicals that have gone into this that might be a little bit different than some of your traditional Prohibition gins?
Yeah, well, I suppose what you're touching on there is really important, right? So distilling is 1,000-year-old technology, whacking alcohol through a big hot piece of copper. But we're using partly for this gin cold distillation. So we're actually able to distill, our condenser is minus 10 degrees instead of distilling at 80 degrees and cooking all of our botanics. We can distill some of our botanics at 30, 40 degrees. And I know, Henry, I was chatting to Jess, Super Sleuth, and I know that you guys have played around with this as well. So it's a really amazing technology and it allows you to maintain the true integrity of a botanic. But combining that with blood limes, which has quickly become one of my favorite botanics. It's a hybrid between a finger lime and a mandarin, as well as utilizing multiple types of juniper from multiple sources, has really led to something special. It's a really cool gin, and my God, I just the color of it like freaks my mind. It is so cool. Yeah, fab. I love it with Indian. I think it's really rich, robust. But at the distillery, we've been serving it with Fever Tree Mediterranean because it's just a little bit lighter and it just allows a little bit more room for the gin. I think, but both great.
Yeah, it's a cracking gin, and you've done immensely well with this one, as you do with all of your amazing little produce that you come out with. The ones like, I guess the other one that's just come out and was probably like almost just like about a week late for us to get in this tasting, but the blood orange just came out as well. So that's probably like the most recent release.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about blood orange gin as well, because that's one that
no, that was a really fun one to work on. So we sourced we wanted to do this hero botanic gin where we treated the botanic a little like a grape grower, a viticulturalist, or a winemaker may treat their grapes. So we sourced all these blood oranges from a single vineyard, just outside of Loxton in the South Australian Riverland, and paired it with cinnamon, myrtle, strawberry gum, chamomile, as well as some like Riverland favorites that kind of all back in this changing of winter into spring and new life, which we went out and picked. Really incredible stuff, and it's bright, it's vibrant, juicy. It's really amazing. Yeah, and I mean, like, all these oranges, they came from like one guy, and they weren't waxed, and they just picked straight off the tree. We got them, they were picked on Monday, delivered to the distillery on Tuesday, and we were distilling them on Wednesday. So it doesn't get much fresher than that.
Farm to still.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. The blood orange, we've definitely got to have in a tasting come out. This one as well is far too smashable. Hugh, I'm just like going through this thing like it's water. Might need a refill. Yeah. The other release, I guess, that is always big this time of year, and we are going to taste this one as well in our Christmas gin tasting, is your Christmas gin. One of the most interesting and amazing Christmas gins in Australia. You'd probably be starting to put some of that through the still as well now. Is there any sort of on it this year, or is it?
So I started distilling this in June. So we've been working on it for a while. It's amazing how quickly it rolls around every year. But yeah, we're bottling it at the moment. And if you subscribe to the Prohibition mailing list, you can find out all about it before anyone else. But I think we'll be releasing it on the 18th of this month. That I may not have been supposed to mention, but yeah, on the 18th of this month. So for those who don't know, our Christmas gin is this cult gin that we sell out of every single year, and every year we make twice as much, and every year we sell out again. We're making, again, more of it, but it is our original gin steeped with cherries and figs and cinnamon and nutmeg and kind of all things Christmas. Maybe I'll steep an elf in it this year, but it's delicious and rich and sticky and moreish. It's like Christmas pudding in a glass. It's really incredible. So get your next ticket to Casa de Vino tasting and try it. It's gonna be good.
I know a midget. We can lend you a midget. I don't know if that's the correct term. Fits as an elf.
Basically, like this one is just sensational, and the Christmas one as well is a doyen of the releases now at Prohibition. Coming to the Christmas tasting, we'll be doing one in about early December. I think like December the 12th or something. And it's one of my favorite tastings of the year, because seeing the amazing representations of the Christmas style gin each year from all the distilleries is just sensational. So I'm super excited for that one as well.
Prohibition. It's one of those Christmas products that every year sells out. They keep doing more and continues to sell out. and you know, it's like
and don't you use the Queen's porcelain or something? You take porcelain from the, is that the?
Yeah. So we've the last few years we've been using a ceramic bottle made by the Queen ceramicist Wade Ceramics in Staffordshire in England. It's very extra, but this year we've gone extra again, and we've moved to this like gold glass from Cognac, which is also very exciting.
Always innovating from every sort of way, product packaging. You know,
in 2022, it's going to be a Fabergé egg Christmas.
Yeah, I will cup my hands and deliver it to everyone's house. It's going to be. I don't know what we're going to do 5 years down the line. Like, I don't know how we keep topping it. I'm not really. I don't know how deep this rabbit hole goes, but we'll take it a year at a time.
I've got a pretty good feeling you'll come up with something pretty crafty every year, because some of the stuff you're coming out with gin-wise and everything is just sensational. Prohibition is like such an amazing distillery, and I guess like your proximity to the city and everything makes it pretty easy for people to come and visit when they're around Adelaide. We probably can't, particularly if you're in Melbourne. I'm not too sure about what's going on in Adelaide. You're pretty open, the land of the free. But in terms of visiting you, like when we can, you guys are open at the distillery and that sort of thing?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, we spoke about this last time, and I can't wait to have you guys across, and we can party on until the night in the distillery. We have a distillery door, a cafe, and a tasting room. So we're open. Like, there's something open every single day of the week. We're right in the heart of the Adelaide CBD. We're on the southern side of the heart of the Adelaide CBD. Very, very reachable, very open. And we're distilling there, so you can come in and you can say hi, and I'll give you a try of gin off the still, and it's cool. It's a really cool space. We design, bottle, package everything there. It's all it's a holistic thing. And yeah, from coffee in the morning till gin late at night. Yeah, we try to do it all.
Yeah, it's sensational, man. Jose are going to be there as soon as we can. Park ourselves next to the still and just
drink fresh martinis off the still.
Yeah, I could see myself stumbling home from that one. Hugh, thank you so much for joining tonight. You're in such an amazing location. I'm so jealous, and I'm so thankful that you've joined tonight, and that we've been able to try this amazing Moonlight Gin. It's a really, really cracking one. I think it's sort of almost going to be part of more of a core range of you guys now.
Yeah, so that's true.
That's super exciting as well.
Yep.
And it's a gin, as I say. It's like, this is the sort of gin that I'd love to have on my bar cart, and I will, because it's versatile, it's fun. It's the sort of gin that when a friend comes over, this is the sort of one I like to have, because it makes people straight away go a little bit like, oh, that's interesting. It's different, and it's really cracking to have that sort of gin. So Hugh, thank you so much, and enjoy tasting on for the rest of the night, mate, in that sensation.
I can't wait to get stuck into all of them. I'm very, very, very excited. Thanks so much for having me, as always, guys. I'll endeavor to stick around.
Beautiful.
Thanks, man.
Cheers, brother. We'll jump back to you later on if you're still hanging about, and see how the gins have treated you. We're heading down Beverly Way now.
Yeah, it was about time.
I'm getting there as well. Needle and Pin Spirit. So the first time that these guys have joined us in a tasting, a distillery that's doing some really amazing things, and one that I'm just so excited to learn about myself, and to share some amazing this amazing gin and a really cool story. So we're joined by Christian tonight from Needle and Pin Spirits. How are you, mate?
Good, thank you. How are you guys?
Absolutely cracking, and really keen to jump into this gin. What I might do now is I'm going to pour my little 30 ml sample. Glop, glop, glop. Might be a little bit more than
30 ml or 60,
okay,
whatever's good.
And like, just off the nature of, that's a big one for you as well, Jose. The fact that we haven't sort of learned too much about you in a previous tasting. I'd love to sort of almost like start from the beginning, as we're just having a little smell and try this gin.
Like where you guys are,
where you guys are, a little bit of the story, and how it all started for Needle and Pins.
definitely. So we are a distiller, obviously, out of Beverley, like you said. But that is just where we distill, but we like to call ourselves Riverlanders. So we are Riverland born and bred. Myself and my sister Kayla, who is the founder of Needle and Pin, the head distiller, the face, the everything. She and I were born in Bury and have grown up with parents who are heavily involved in the wine industry. So naturally, we kind of have been around spirits our whole life. We are, out drinking and trying alcohol from a very young age, which isn't probably something I should be saying, but that's kind of how we've spent our days. So Kayla had this vision to support local farmers, support local produce, and that's kind of where Needle and Pin grew 2.5 years ago. So she's been out by the distilling in the factory doing that for most days now, and she's doing a great job. So this is the Seville Orange Gin, which I hope you've all got in your glasses now, and we can run through it if you want.
So absolutely cracking gin. On the nose, obviously the oranges are permeating there. They're like there's no tomorrow. And how gorgeous. The process behind this one, and what I find very easy is what I find very interesting is you guys use spent wine, right, as a base spirit. Is that sort of correct? And then you would distill that and get your base? Exactly right.
So like I said, we're all about supporting local farmers and trying to take a little bit more of a environmental approach to our gin and to our distilling process. So all of our materials used, all of our produce used is from local farmers, whether it be oranges or mandarins that maybe haven't made it to the supermarket because of blemishes. We use those and we use them in our distilling process. Same with the spent wine. So we get that from our own vineyard, which is, like I said, our family's vineyard. And we also get it from our neighboring vineyard. So just trying to reduce waste as much as possible, reduce, reuse, recycle, and keep the planet a bit healthier and happier.
That's really cool.
That's really good. Small distilleries putting everything on sustainability, and which is, I think consumer reacts quite well to that.
Yeah,
right now.
Definitely. These grape-based spirits as well, they seem to really highlight well, like particular botanical, be it like if you're just like apples, be it oranges. This is just so bloody delicious, and the orange is just absolutely. I mean, I guess in many ways you've kind of done the orange justice. You've highlighted the orange would be happy with you because you've showcased it in such an awesome way. The pairing we're doing for this one tonight, basically, as we keep making these G&Ts, I always want to throw a little bit of something interesting in the mix. So we've got the blood orange soda. And, it's almost turning into like a little bit more of a highball or cocktailish sort of category. But the oranges that are in here, I mean, this Fever Tree orange is just going to absolutely elevate it. They're going to sing a beautiful chorus in harmony together, and it's going to be great. So this one would be good. I'd also recommend maybe if you've got a couple of glasses, you could try it with a refreshingly light, or you could try it with a Mediterranean. Have a play. But I'm going to put a little bit of the Fever Tree blood orange soda.
I reckon this one also would do really well with the lemon tonic.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
With the lemon tonic, this would be another of those great matchings. And there's not like as we always say, and Trish always, it's not really like one recipe for matching anything. It's basically all palates are different. Just
I'd love to know what Trish thinks too with this one.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, firstly, the gin is amazing. I saw a couple of call outs there on Fanta, and I just really love that we're putting the blood orange soda into it, because it is literally like Fanta for adults. And I know there's some Negroni nerds on here. So this might even appeal to them, being this almost like a Negroni highball. So absolutely what Jono was saying about that spritz vibe, about more of a highball. And I mean, if you can take a Negroni into summer, because for me, it's always like maybe a late night drink, maybe when it's a bit cooler because it's a bit richer. But this for me, it kind of is like, that Negroni highball. And I really love your story about your citrus. I love Needle and Pin. I've tried all of them, so huge fan. And so I think it works really great with this orange soda too, Jono, because we use these beautiful oranges from Mount Etna in Sicily, which is an active volcano. So really great soil for growing citrus. That's actually where we get our lemons for our lemon tonic, as Jose was saying. But the botanicals that we use in there additionally are wormwood, which you find in vermouth, of course, and balsam, which is a resin from a tree. So you almost get this Amaro vibe with it. And I just, Fanta for adults, I love this. What a combination. Great job.
Thank you.
This is dangerous. This is a dangerous gin alert. This is so absolutely tasty, and I don't want to use the word demolishable, but that's what it is. I've got like a 45 ml pour with just probably about the same amount of tonic in there, and it's just like going down like an absolute treat. So delicious.
I reckon this is like perfect. This is like perfectly makes sense coming from South Australia when you think like the summers, 38, 40, 45 degrees, and you just sit on the back of your house. You pour probably this on a jug with a lot of ice and just pour it straight in. Yeah. With a bit of fever tree soda with lemon tonic or
bombs an absolute way. And whilst we just keep on chatting for a little bit, I will say the code for tonight should be juniper.
Juniper.
Yeah.
So
juniper.
Yes, we do this. We do this every. Owen might need to give us a hand and check if I can't remember if I put the date right. Anyway, it will be ready in a minute. We normally don't do this. We don't like to give discounts in Casa de Vinos because it's against my religion, as I always say. But for all the people that support us for tastings, there is a time until tomorrow midday that we use this code Juniper, and you can buy anything from tasting today or whatever else is in the store with 10% off. Just to say thank you for the support.
And this Needle and Gin Spirit is one that I am going to get as well.
I want to make a point with the artwork. So I imagine this comes from Sevilla, like kind of Spanish style. Is that the mean?
Exactly right. Yeah, exactly right. So it's that sessionable kind of drink, like you guys are saying, and it just fits perfectly with that lifestyle of the Mediterranean, but also we like to think of that, South Australia is, Australia's version of the Mediterranean with the beautiful beaches, beautiful sun, and it's that drink that you can drink all summer long. So exactly right. The artwork's all about that Mediterranean lifestyle.
Yeah, it's a bit like South Australia is a bit like the south of Spain, pretty loose, south of Spain is a different rules. There's a lot of time. They're cool.
They're groovy.
Yeah.
This is such a cracking gin and an awesome little distillery. In terms of, Kristen, your range, like how does the Seville, how does that fit in? Like, what other gins have you got? Is there anything maybe like in the pipeline? Like, what's kind of the range looking like at the moment for Needle and Pins?
Definitely. So I will just mention, I'm seeing a bunch of people in the chat asking about what's a good garnish. Orange is great. It does maybe overpower a little bit and you can kind of get a bit of orange overload. So I like to chuck in a lime, a grapefruit. Mint is also great in here too. It's almost, kind of a punchy style drink where you can kind of chuck in whatever and it works. So anything you guys want to put in there works beautifully.
I didn't mention before. That's a good point. I'm too just
distracted with the gin.
By putting this down. Garnish I'm going to put with it today is an orange. Just off the back, it's orange, and you're probably right. It's a bit of an orange overload, but hey, let's just keep going.
But also vitamin C. Do you know what I mean? Like everyone needs their vitamin C.
Because I'm absolutely loving this. And yeah, it is sensational. So there's this one, and I kind of cut you off there a little bit, but the rest of the range and everything else is sort of Needle and Pins as well.
Yep. So Kayla started out with what I like to call the OGs, which is the Seville Orange Gin, what you guys are tasting today. But the main one is the Riverland Dry, and that comes in I wish I had a bottle here, but I've drunk it all, unfortunately. And Kayla hasn't sent me one out again. But it's that iconic Needle and Pin label, which is that pin in the haystack. And then we have the Lily Pilly too. So they were the OGs. And then we've just recently launched the Casa Collection, which is something Kayla's been working on for about a year actually, and it's kind of a concept which we are loving. For the people who aren't just gin lovers, we have some great things that have come out. So we have our vodka, we have original sin dry gin as well. So these Casa Collection bottles are in the old kind of pop a bottle top kind of ones, and then we have the limoncello too, which is this one here. Again, if you want a summer drink and you're not a gin drinker, limoncello is my pick of the bunch. I'm also a massive lightweight, so half a sip of that and I'm blackout. And then me smelling this, talking about lightweight, this is our Navy Strength, our Captain's Grin Navy Strength Gin. Sitting at 58%. I smell this and I'm passed out for the night. So
back of the neck.
Yeah, exactly. So that's our most recent range is a Casa Collection, and it's been received so well. We actually haven't been able to get into stores yet because online people are loving it. So we're kind of struggling to keep up with demand a little bit, which is great to see. And then lastly, I will also mention Bizarro too. If you guys have heard of Delinquente Wine, which is my brother's, mine and Kayla's brother's winery, we teamed up with him to produce Bizarro, which is a aperitivo, very similar to your Campari, but a South Australian twist on it. So this is something we have collabed with him on, and it's again selling like hotcakes, and that's sold all over the world now. We're in pretty much every country you can find any alcohol in.
Amazing.
What is that?
And Delinquente, I remember we used to get Delinquente back on the other store. We used to have Delinquente for a very, very long time. When it first, well, I was looking at the box that you have right down there on the trolley, and I was thinking it's like your vineyards will be related to the Delinquente vineyards. But that I'm talking about probably like 6 or 7 years ago. Back then, when your brother just released, it was only 3 wines back then: a white, a rosé, and a red. On top of my head, red was the Montepulciano. There was a piano blend on a white. A good memory. Yes, great labels. I remember the Delinquente. It's because it actually means like a gang member, like a bad guy.
Delinquent. Yeah, it's a delinquent.
Is a word in English? So, delinquent? Yes.
Yeah, delinquent is English. Yeah. Just put the E on the end, and you got his wine label. But that sells out within 2 months of a drop each season. So to collab with him on Bizarro has been amazing for us. Kayla, to talk about it today would have been great. Unfortunately, she couldn't be here. She is kind of the face and the voice of Needle and Pin. I'm just the background guy who helps her out. But if you guys want to get in touch, we are needlepin_spirits on all our socials and website and everything like that. Needle and Pin Spirits, we can be found there. So if you want to get in touch, we're there.
I will take the lot.
And it would be amazing if next time you come here to Victoria when we're allowed to have people from the other side of the border. You come and do a tasting bring the trolley, come pushing the trolley, everything that is in there.
I did see Nicole just asked then if we have a cellar door. Unfortunately, we don't yet. So we work out of Mum and Dad's bottling hall, which is one of the largest bottling halls in the Southern Hemisphere. So we do our distilling out of there. But we are, always working on some great things, and hopefully a cellar door isn't too far away. But we're in every store you guys can think of. You can buy us online. You can buy us on our website, and all your BWS and Dan Murphys and things like that too. So.
Yep. So, mate, it's been awesome.
Amazing. I don't want this one to end.
I was about to pull my second one down right now. Yeah, no, I shouldn't do this.
I've already had a second.
We already talked about. We can't.
And this one as well. It's amazing. It's incredible. I and Jose and everyone in the chat I know is like super duper blown away by this gin. And I think that the way you guys are doing it, your approach is amazing in terms of your respect for the ecology and everything of the area you're in and the way you do it. It's a cracking gin, and this is probably really only a small little bit of what's to come for you guys. And I'm super excited to sign up to the Needle and Pin, the mailing list, and keep getting all this amazing stuff from you guys. So thank you for joining, man. And we
appreciate it.
Working with you as we go forward.
Hopefully I make it through to the end of the tasting because, like I said, I'm a lightweight and I'm already feeling it. So fingers crossed I'm there at the end.
I can't wait to go back to you at the end, Chris.
I just be passed out.
More time talking to you at the end as well.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you, mate.
What a stunning bottle of gin, and one that's it's quite.
How sessionable is this? Like it's crazy, like that, you know. I can see a lot in summer happening on the street while you know, like blood orange with the Seville Gin at the front, Coventry Street, like.
Pair this with your little fever tree. So at the shop here, for those in Melbourne or when people are visiting, when we are able to, whenever that is, we will be able to have
a few tables at the front.
People sit down, and I think I've got about 300 plus bottles of gin open at the moment. So we might, we've got a crazy amount of gin that is open from all of our tastings, from everything we do. So it will be sensational to be able to offer like some really interesting G&Ts to everyone, accompanied with a little fever tree tonic and a nice glass. It's going to be really good. So that'll be fun when that comes to fruition as well. I can't believe, I'm just so blown away by the first two, and having tasted the third, which we're going to now, it doesn't stop. This tasting is honestly just full of fire, Jose. And for the third one, we're going down to the Barossa Valley, from Beverly to the Barossa, the BMB. We're heading down there with the Australian Garden Gin, the newest release from the team at Barossa, and we've been joined by the great guys from down there a few times. First time we've been joined by the awesome Zach, who's the brand ambassador. How are you, man? Thanks for joining in.
Yeah, good. Thank you so much, Jono, Jose, Trish, and all the guys from all of the different distilleries for putting this on and contributing, because so far it's been awesome, and those two gins were fantastic. It's great to see some new releases from you guys, and we hope to come up and visit soon and do some tastings and vice versa. If you're ever down in the Barossa Valley, come down and see us, and we'll host you in our venue and get some cocktails and get some tastings going. Guys, I basically have been with the distillery for about a year now. A little bit of background as to how Barossa Distilling Company started. We started in 2015, basically with our managing director drinking Riesling and gin with a couple of local winemakers, and they were essentially calling this their Barossa Valley sports drink. I believe they were mixing it together. They may or may not have been on the cellar site while they were doing this, but basically started by drinking gin and Riesling and deciding that they wanted to go out and make their own. So they went out and started having a chat, I believe, with some of the Applewood distillers in the early days in 2015, and the Applewood distiller guys gave us a bit of an idea, a bit of a template. Neil, the managing director, had never actually tried his hand at making gin before. He originally came with the intention of being a winemaker, and soon realized that probably wasn't such a good idea. Saw a bit of a gap in the market for some gin, and thought, what the hell, let's bring some gin to the Barossa Valley. So we started with our generations, coming all the way to 2021 now. We now have five gins in our core range, and then we've got a sixth barrel-aged gin that we've just released as well, which is pretty exciting. But today I've got the Australian Garden Gin here. I hope we can all see that roughly okay. My lighting's not so great, but this is the newest release from us, and essentially this gin was about looking inward, which we all have done for the past 2 years, and looking in our own back garden and going, all right, well, we've got some awesome botanicals here, literally in our back gardens. Let's see what we can make out of this. So in our venue outside, we've got a beautiful botanical garden, and Neil saw some of the botanicals from his back garden as well. Essentially, there's 19 botanicals going into this one, which is
just 1 second. We're going to put a little bit of ice and taste it with ice before the tonic.
100%. Sorry, I've started rambling. Yeah, have a smell, guys. Have a smell, neat.
What is the difference between this and your what's the generations, which is like your core? Yeah, basically.
The Generations Gin. Yeah. Okay. So this is more, I guess, filling a a more savory, intense flavored gap that we had in our product line. So Generations is all about that very smooth citrus, classic, citrus juniper profile. The Australian Garden Gin has switched it up by having a really crisp, clean, refreshing line of lemon citrus there with some lime citrus to accompany that. And then we've kind of boosted that lemon candy flavor or limoncello flavor with some lemon verbena and some Buddha's hand as well. We actually use the citrus from
Buddha's hands. I love Buddha's hands. When you can get
really freaky looking fruit for those who don't know, and basically just pith and peel, but getting the flavor from the peel has been fantastic, and it's really worked in our distilling process. And it was kind of a late add. It was something we added afterwards because we were getting a lot more of the greener flavors that we wanted to be there, but we wanted to kind of take a sideline. So the fix for that was upping that lemon verbena and upping that Buddha's hand, or adding that Buddha's hand, I should say. And now we've got this, really beautiful, refreshing gin that has these kind of green garden notes on the side as well.
It's amazing the savoriness of this. It's like just this is if I would do a cocktail with this Gibson straight away, like that's like salty, briny, enhance that dryness of it,
sure.
Savoriness.
It's amazing. And I might just say quickly as well, for those who prefer jumping into the G&T, that for this one, we're going to pair it with the Fever Tree Mediterranean and a little cheeky lime garnish there. So if you want to get into the tonic pairing now, let's go with the Mediterranean for this one, and a little bit of lime. And I know, Zach, that's how you guys love to serve this one with the Fever Tree Mediterranean.
Yeah, that was something that Hugh touched on earlier. The Mediterranean, we find when we have a very, dominant, intense flavored gin, that Mediterranean works perfectly. It's just letting that gin shine through, and not having any, really strong dominant flavors take over. And with this gin, we really wanted that to be center stage. And it works so well. It's refreshing. It does kind of take you to the beach, or like I was about to say, it's the perfect buddy for some gardening days out in the sun. So it was released in the spring, summertime, but it is a year
for the body.
What's that?
Balm for the body.
Exactly.
Balm, like B-A-R-M. That's like balm for the body. It's the accent.
Yeah.
This will be like this is amazing. This is something that I would even, I don't know, just wrap myself on. This
You'll wrap yourself around it.
Rub it on
like,
you. Yeah, rub like that.
Yeah,
well, we'll see afterwards.
It's not backed up by science, Jose, but yeah, sure, give it a go. Rub it over yourself. See if you get,
it's aftershave,
UV protection, a bit of this. But yeah, essentially, we're really, really stoked with where it's at, and really, really proud to have something that can represent Australia in terms of flavor profile. We're not necessarily going down that full native, locally sourced mash bill for our gin. It's more just about showing Australia and hopefully the rest of the world, a really great example of what an Australian back garden can produce. And this is essentially the gin.
And it's a big old garden out there, Zach. And
we do have a massive garden.
That's it.
Yeah.
And a cracking one at that. I'd love to jump over to Trish quickly on this one. Trish, have you given this one a whirl? What are your thoughts on the gin and this Mediterranean just goes gorgeously with it?
Oh my gosh, absolutely delightful. And John, as soon as you said a Gibson, I was like, oh, damn it, I want a martini.
Right now.
Why did you do that? There's not enough gin in that bottle, unfortunately. But with the Mediterranean, it's absolutely divine. And I really love what Zach, said. And that's why the Mediterranean is such a big fan of a lot of Australian distillers, is it doesn't overshadow, it kind of supports. And sometimes when you do have botanicals that can be a bit volatile and a bit loud, it kind of supports those a little bit. This tonic water is always the tonic water. If you don't know what to mix with your gin, I always recommend this one. We use half the amount of that quinine that you find in our Indian tonic water, so it's automatically a gateway tonic. We also use lemon, thyme and rosemary from Provence, they basically grow these herbs for perfume making. 6 generations have been producing these. So we're like, got to put the best botanicals in it, because when you listen to these guys and Zach talk about his, you know, the love for their ingredients, it would be remiss of us not to put the same love into a mixer. Yeah. So yeah, I love this. And this is so good. I cannot wait to drink this all summer long. So thank you, Zach, for introducing me to this little number.
Yes. Appreciate the tonic.
And it's honestly and super deeply well summed up there, Trish. And I think gateway tonic might be one of my new favorite terms.
Yeah.
And the Mediterranean is not only that, but I like always have like 4 bottles of this in the cupboard, because it's just a gin drinker's best friend, the Mediterranean, honestly.
It's very versatile.
Like, it is super duper versatile.
Yeah.
And if you're going to have a supply of tonics, always keep a few Mediterraneans on hand, because like for me, it's just like an absolutely stunning mix for so many gins. Like, I struggle to find a G&T that I don't enjoy with the Mediterranean, even if there maybe is like the refreshingly light or the Indian would be in the end a better pairing. Like, I always enjoy a G&T with the Mediterranean no matter what.
And you know what, it came to my mind straight away when Zach said about, you know, the flavor profile reminds you of the beach, and this is like, this has got to be a summer that you go to the beach with an esky, ice, a bottle of gin, and a few of your tricks, and that's it.
Yeah.
If you go to the beach with beer now, you're just you're out.
I think
you're all news.
Bottle of gin too quickly. I probably need 2 bottles of gin. Am I
2
going
bottles
with
of gin.
anyone?
Yeah, to the beach.
Just
by
myself.
yourself.
2 bottles.
But literally, you just imagine this, you're just only carrying 1 bottle of gin, you know, then an esky full of, you can get the big fever trees, you know, tall
fever trees.
Yeah, just the Mediterranean, the 750 ml.
You know what it is, Jose?
Yeah.
It's the future, and this is what we're doing.
Going to the beach with beer doesn't really, you know, drinking cans, not good. No.
Or I mean, the cans as well. You can get the G&T cans, but I reckon taking a bottle of gin and a couple of tonics, some ice. That's the biggest power play.
And you look cool. You're like,
cool. Yes. Everyone's, what's that person doing?
Yeah, not drinking cans, not drinking.
I know what I'm doing when I can. Absolutely sensational. Let's chat a little bit more to you, Zach Barossa. You guys are doing some amazing stuff.
Yeah, what's in the works?
Yeah.
What's in the works? What can you tell us without what you're allowed to tell us?
Guys, it was funny that you mentioned going to the beach loaded up with a couple of beers, or in this case, it's a bottle of gin and a couple of tonics. We may or may not have some canned G&Ts and possibly something special coming out in a can relatively soon. So I won't say too much more than that. I think the Australian Garden Gin is going to feature in that. It's looking like it goes really well into a can, and that is literally for those beautiful beach days. Takedown just kind of gives you that convenience. And yeah, we're really excited to get something like that on the go. We do also have access to some of the best barrel quality in the world down in the Barossa Valley. We've got a lot of winemakers playing with barrel aging. We've got a lot of our distillers playing with barrel aging. So again, I'm going to be a little bit vague here because, like you said, I'm not 100% sure what I'm meant to be letting off and what I'm not meant to be letting off. But barrel aging our Shiraz gin has turned out to be really, really interesting. And I think I got a private message from, I believe it was Nicole before, who won the barrel-aged Shiraz in a raffle. That's something that we're actually looking to release at some point as, again, our kind of Christmas gin in a way. Something that kind of almost has a port-like feel to it, which is absolutely delicious, but still with that 38% alcohol to kind of kick your ass a little bit if you let it.
Nice.
Really excited for that, and excited to get some cans out as well. So there's just a couple of things that are coming out from Barossa Distilling that are in the works.
You guys are moving.
Yeah, and you guys, one of those distilleries also, you know, like Prohibition, like Applewood you have today, you know, and that would be so long because the innovation comes so quick, and you always let's say leading by example and not just following, right? Which is very, very interesting. Yeah. I always put that example, and sorry to I again take, but the relationship with wineries, and so one of the wineries that I really always estimated a lot is the Bortoli, because they really lead in the market in a lot of products. When you look at winemaking, big
so much history.
Yes, but also they lead with development more than the big companies in Australia, a lot bigger than them. And the same, this happens with small distilleries, you know, like Barossa, you know, Applewood, you know. The small independents are leading the industry with new products, packaging, innovation, which is the reason why we're growing so fast in such a short amount of time.
Yeah,
because of they just create dynamic things that you want to taste.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
You unfortunately today that creates also a junky kind of customer that never tastes the same product twice. Just want a new product all the time, but it's amazing because we got all this variety right now.
Gateway distilleries, I think.
Gateway distilleries. Gateway is that's spot on.
That's the word of the evening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zach, this is a cracking gin, and we are absolutely in love with Barossa Distilling Co. at Casa de Vinos, as we are with all of the distilleries. We are just such huge fans of everyone who's joined tonight. This is like a dream tasting for me, to be honest. You guys are doing some amazing stuff, as Jose is saying, and I think that this one is something that we're going to have to definitely have here at the shop regularly for everyone to come in and try, because you've executed it exceptionally well, and you guys just continue to go from strength to strength. So thank you so much, man, for joining me tonight. It's been so good.
You guys.
To meet you.
It's lovely to see you down at the distillery soon.
Absolutely.
And we look forward to have you here whenever you're on this side of town.
Yeah.
This will be like your Victorian house. Just come around.
Just
you know?
before I do jump through to the next one, the distillery, obviously in Barossa Valley, what a beautiful picturesque area of the world. Will you guys be open like towards the Christmas period, as some of us might start be able to heading down there and that sort of thing? What can we expect from the distillery?
We're open pretty well predominantly through December. I think, Christmas Day, Christmas Eve, Boxing Day, those are the dates we'll probably be shut. But Friday, Saturday, Sunday, every week, we're here at the old Penfolds Brandy Distillery. So it's almost kind of a museum meets distillery door, and then at night we turn the lights down, turn the music up, and it becomes a fun cocktail bar, which is where I'm in my element. So definitely feel free to come down, guys, when the borders open up and when you can, and we'd love to see the both of you and everyone in this Zoom call come through, because it's a good time. The Barossa's not so far away for those of us in SA. We're only 50 minutes.
Yeah, amazing. I can't wait to pop down there. I reckon we'll go Barossa first, Needle and Pins, maybe like flow back to
Prohibition is last.
Applewood, and then
Prohibition is last next to a hotel, and then you just walk from Prohibition to a hotel.
You finish at Prohibition, you can roll into Prohibition, and
with Hugh, I fear that guy.
He'll let you in no matter how stumbling.
He's a weapon and everything.
Let me use the still here. I'll make it, it'll be good fun.
Come up on the Daily Mail.
Yeah.
All right.
That's such an amazing guide, Gin. Thank you again for joining, Zach. It's been like super duper fun to learn about this gin and what's been happening there. We've got like two. It keeps it like,
two more.
I don't know how the standard,
Cristo, man.
The standard is like boom, 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 boom.
Keeps going
this
up and up, and
like in terms of the
these
amazing,
like show off, right?
Yeah, amazing quality of these gins. It might be one of the best tastings I've ever done. And for the next one, we're heading to Applewood as I pour a little bit of Alpine gin. Introduce Henry, Jose.
Oh, this Henry used to work for Casa de Vinos 2 years. He started to work for us 3 years ago. And just right before lockdown, unfortunately, he got his great job right now, and I had to hire Jonathan.
I'm the new Henry.
He's the new Henry. Henry 2.0. And
much better Henry.
Very interestingly, Henry ends up working for a great distiller, and Jono ends up, when it comes to the store and started work for Casa de Vinos, create all these gin tastings. It's like, oh well.
I've just been following Henry for a long time. I just wanted to like step into his shoes and
yeah, I've been talking with Henry from Applewood. I know Henry pretty well. You know, it's like, hey, and then we started doing all these tastings. It's great having someone that we know quite well.
Yes.
And Henry has supported us so much with some releases, rare pre-releases sometimes, and you know, it's been something that's supported our gin tastings for a year and a half. Pretty much. So a guy that actually knows a lot, quite a geek on spirits. I thought he was going to take the path of whiskey, and suddenly he just turned the curve on gin and just
did that make you upset, Jose?
Yeah, he did all that training I did with Henry with whiskey. But anyway,
and here he's going to the gin.
Here he's going to gin category. What can I tell?
We're joined by Henry. Was that better than my intro?
Mate, that was. I feel so welcome.
You're always a friend of the house, you know.
Mate, it's always a pleasure to be here with you guys, and I'm so excited for your new store, and I cannot wait to come down and just pour a lot of booze out for both of you. I'm really stoked to see it, because I know how hard you guys have worked over the past couple of years to make this happen. So I'm stoked to be here, and I'm really excited to tell you about this new gin that we have. I'm sorry, it's not whiskey, Jose.
I'm surprised we still have you on the show now.
There might be some news about whiskey coming up, but you will be the first to know.
Thank you.
What we have in front of us right now is our newest addition to our core range. It's Applewood Alpine. Don't stand on ceremony, pour it in a glass, get it going.
Yep.
I'm not sure what tonic we are pairing with it, but I know that Trish will elucidate in due course specifically which gin it is. I don't have a bottle of Alpine on me simply because I drank it already. Now, this is, for my money, a gin lover's gin. When we talk about Applewood core range releases, I think you'll find that more often than not, we use the T word, terroir, a lot of the time, because we do come from that winemaking background in Unico Zello. So our very first gin, the signature gin, was a gin that spoke to the arid interior of Australia. Then we have Coral, which is our pink gin, which speaks to the lush exterior and ocean of Australia. And so we viewed Australia kind of in this two-dimensional landscape to a certain extent. And we had a good amount of time for introspection, as lockdown gives all of us. And we were forced to kind of contemplate what we were missing about the landscape of Australia. And that's when it kind of hit us. We actually realized, and I'm not going to lie to all of my wonderful Netflix nerds out there, we actually were inspired by Chef's Table from Central, the restaurant in Peru. They, on their menu, if you haven't seen this episode, do watch it. It's fascinating. Their menu is based on altitude. And looking at the striations of altitude in Peru and what produce you find at different altitudes. So we adopted the same vision in terms of Australia, and we decided to focus on the alpine regions of Australia and the world to a certain extent. And we wanted to craft a gin that spoke authentically to basically everything above around 500 meters sea level in Australia, which is not often something that we actually focus on in Australia, because more often than not, we're thinking about peppermint gum or distiller's ketchup in strawberry gum or Fingerlime. But funnily enough, we did have to focus on Fingerlime in this regard, because Fingerlime is one of the rare native Australian limes, rare native Australian citruses that does grow at high altitude. So when we looked at altitude in Australia, we really were forced to consider the Great Dividing Range, which is a 3,500 kilometre long range that extends from far north Queensland all the way down into Victoria. And then also we had to think about Tasmania as well, because there are some wonderful alpine regions there. So first things first, we took a very, very heavy base of juniper. We wanted to produce a gin that I suppose finally spoke to the gin lovers in the room. I think you could sometimes accuse Applewood of trying to surreptitiously push juniper to the side to try to smuggle it away and be like, no, we're focusing on native Australian botanicals. With this, we wanted to pay homage a little bit in just one expression that we do, so that then we can focus on other things. So we've done a double maceration of juniper over 3 days. So first maceration 3 days out from distillation, and then another maceration on the day of distillation.
On juniper. That's all juniper.
Yeah, juniper.
We put in a little bit of ice already, just to taste it with ice and
taste it with ice, without jumping the gun too much. Yeah. If you do want to make it into a G&T now, we're going to use the rest of the Fever Tree Mediterranean.
Mosquito.
And I think this is going to go exceptionally well with it. Fever Tree Mediterranean, if you've already used all of that because you're a grizzly gut, then you can go for a little bit of Fever Tree Refreshingly Light as well, would be a pretty awesome pairing too. Henry, like, let's keep on talking about this gin, because I don't know if we've quite sort of like covered everything. We kind of cut you off a little bit there, but it's such an awesome sort of story and incredible gin. You guys are super tech in the way you represent Australia and its ecology in such a thoughtful way. You know, you're a B certified company. It's like a big part of what you guys do. And you've once again hit the nail on the head with the Alpine. The other sort of botanicals, are there any that we haven't talked about yet that are key?
Yeah, so some real key ones. As I said, Fingerlime was the next thing that we did. We, again, did a 3-day maceration, but double dosed of Fingerlime specifically. And then from there, Geraldton wax as well, orris root. Tarragon was the real key. Tarragon is a really fun botanical because it actually gives you anise in very small doses, which you need to balance out some of the alpha pinene compounds that you're getting from juniper. And then finally, pepper leaf. To actually give a spice and drive and a little bit of bite, which is what we associated with the feeling of being in an alpine area. There's that kind of the kiss of the cold, if you will. And so that's what we wanted to kind of harness with this idea of pepper leaf and it being prominent in the actual botanical bill.
So this is absolutely amazing. Again, another quite savory style of gin. This will be also, I would say, pretty good with just the Indian too. You know, something that gives a bit more bitterness.
Have a bit of
play with it. You know.
What do you reckon, Trish, in terms of the Mediterranean with this one and the gin itself?
I really enjoy this one with the Mediterranean, but I also like Fingerlime and the Refreshingly Light tonic goes so well together because of that you know, fructose makes everything really sherbety to me. So it almost like, you know, makes it like fizzy, limey, pithy pearl goodness, which it's just great. And I'm a huge fan of juniper. And so, you know, bolstering that with pine just makes so much sense. And delish, yum, love it. Huge fan.
This is Henry. You guys are again another of these distillers that quite innovate a lot, right?
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
You know, and quite keep a portfolio very fresh. So all the time coming with new products, which is like
fresh, but also very well curated. There's nothing that doesn't have a point. You know, like we've obviously got some of my favorite highlights of the limited edition stuff behind us here. Lemonasse and Casco du Plum Bush Apple. I'm just a massive fan of everything Applewood.
What's coming?
Yeah, is there anything in the works at the moment you can dangle in front of us, Dennis?
Come on, we are
look, you
know that.
Look, I know. Look, there's positively there's tons. I think the colloquial way of describing how we work is we like to fuck around seriously, which is my personal favorite way of describing it. We just released a new limited edition, which is Saltbush, which is right here. So that is available on our website and will shortly be available at Casa de Vino, I'm sure. It is an umami bomb. So dirty martinis waiting to happen. Or if you're feeling a little bit cool, you can also add some fresh watermelon juice to it and just pull a Snoop Dogg. And it's really delicious.
Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
Snoop Dogg, gin and juice, baby, laid back. To all my rap fans out there. We also have another monobotanical gin coming, and our subscription service, Kindred Spirits, which you can sign up to on the Applewood website, is actually where you'll get to see the crazier stuff that we do. So for our Kindred Spirits subscribers only, it's not available to trade. It's not available in bottle shops. We released our Fingerlime Gin that we produced way back in, oh my goodness, maybe March of this year, which we actually aged in our Jarrah barrels. So our native Australian wood barrels, which aged our whiskey. And we only had 200 bottles available, and they're gone to subscribers. Our next limited edition gin, which will be Carcala, which has just been released to our subscribers as well. That is coming out. And then we will have another Kindred Spirits release, which is still in development, but it's very, very exciting.
Awesome.
That's amazing.
There's lots of good stuff in the works there, so it's not surprising.
On the positive side of Henry being stuck in Victoria, it means he can come, and once we are open and he's not allowed to travel,
and we can do
he can come and do
Tropic.
And he can come to do he can come to do tastings in here in the store upstairs, 50 people, and we all gonna do
Yes.
No, a great gin. Henry's gonna bring some of those limited editions. Maybe just this is not gonna be televised or shown on Facebook or anything. And shots of Oka Tropic, and
it'll be a lot of fun. And Henry's one of the most amazing hosts, so it'll be super exciting to do that. I want to talk a little bit more about a couple of other things, but on maybe perhaps a little bit more slightly like a serious note. What I find super interesting about you guys, Henry, and it's something that you never like actually throw down the throat, or it's not like a big part of you talk, but it is something that is what you guys are, and that's that you're a B certified company, and that's an interesting sort of element of you guys. For those who don't understand, can you explain a little bit about what that actually means?
Yeah, sure. So B Corp Certification is basically the gold standard for sustainability for for-profit companies in the world. Basically, they're a company that audits you to make sure that you are functioning to the highest levels of environmental and social impact. In the entire world, there are 2 certified B Corp distilleries. There's Flor de Caña and there's us. We're the only 2 in the world, which is we're really, really proud of. There are several breweries in Australia. So Four Pines and Stone and Wood are also certified B corporations. And we're currently in the process of doing multiple things in order to answer our 18-month audit, which comes around. And the fun thing about your 18-month audit when you become a B Corp is that there's a certain score that you have to reach to become a B Corp. Whatever score you get, that's fantastic. Now, with your next audit, you have to beat that score. It's no longer about just getting 80 points. It's now about getting better than whatever your score was. So we're aiming for a 15-point increase. If you want to know more about our sustainability, you can head to our website. We have updated our sustainability page because of this audit that is coming up. And you can see our goals for the next year in terms of whether it be renewable energy, acknowledgement of land use, acknowledgement of Indigenous land use as well, and Indigenous botanicals, and also our reconciliation action plan. So the thing about being a B Corp is it keeps you accountable and it prohibits greenwashing. So we can't just say, hey, we're sustainable. It's more like you have to prove it with hard data.
Yeah, and something that you probably can't. I mean, obviously you can't fake it, and it goes down to super little things. Like I went on a little trip with Henry, and we went to some beehives to do a little project, and one of the guys that was there with us, Henry got chatting, and the guy said to Henry, "Oh, awesome, mate! Can you just give me your business card?" of course, not allowed to have, you know, business cards like that being B Corp certified. It even goes to little things that you probably wouldn't even think about. And it's obviously changes that I don't think anybody can expect everyone to make in business straight away. It's a lot of effort. It's a lot of work. It's time. But eventually, you know, if we could all start to maybe make little changes in the way we do things, it's for the greater good. And Applewood is just on the absolute front foot with it.
It's like a commitment to make improvements every year, right? Yeah. Basically, yeah. And setting a baseline of not going backwards.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That's the way it goes.
I think the main thing for us, specifically to do with sustainability, is I think everyone needs to realize that sustainability is a journey. Like we're all just trying to get better. That's all we're trying to do. And we're still learning how to do everything more efficiently and better as well. Like we're not stopping because we got a B Corp. It's like, job done, planet saved. It's like, no, we actually need to keep just trying to do better in any way that we possibly can. And every little thing helps. And that's what we're firm believers in.
Yeah, it's amazing. This and actually there's theories about what's the next luxury, what's kind of the next luxury perception, which is kind of sustainability, right? Mm-hmm. So luxury is not just about like expensive and bling. It's about coming into sustainability, and that will make you luxury because you can afford being better than everyone else through sustainability. And that's like kind of it kind of becomes your threshold, you're just setting a benchmark up, and you get customers that just only buy above certain threshold of sustainability, and that's what becomes luxurious in a different way. People never thought about that before, which is great. You know,
it's super interesting, and
it gives you peace of mind when you buy. Yeah, right.
And everyone's doing some amazing stuff across the board.
Let's say I drink Applewood and I kind of make good for the world.
Well, if you drink Coral Gin, for example, 1% of every single dollar of revenue that comes from that bottle goes to the Reef Restoration Foundation that actually actively restore the Great Barrier Reef.
Yeah. And
plus, on top of that, there's 1% of the planet that we do across our entire business model. And last year alone, we donated $31,000 to various different both charities, COVID-19 EAD that fed out of work hospitality workers in Melbourne. Like we do a lot of work in terms of trying to give back and trying to make sure that that we're paying the rent.
It's absolutely awesome, and the
again, another distillery that leads on everything.
On everything, really, and the thing that like is so amazing about this one for me is how you guys continue to like release gins, but with such a purpose. And thank you so much, Henry, for joining in tonight. Did you get your pack? Did it arrive in time?
Yeah, my man. Yeah, I got my pack. I've tasted everything this evening, and it's phenomenal. There's one thing I forgot. Am I allowed to say this as well?
Yeah,
I'm going to anyway. There's one landscape that we didn't acknowledge yet.
Yeah.
But we will in our core range gins in January.
Wow, awesome.
We're coming out with a fourth core range gin.
Inner Earth? Is it multi-lava gin?
No, it's no. Not quite. But it's going to be a lot of fun, and it's actually going to be the very first of its kind in Australia. So
it's so exciting. My brain's already like, is it Deep Ocean? Is it the Valley? Is it what is it?
Thanks, Ellie, I really enjoyed that. It's not Space Gin.
Henry, I feel quite sorry that you're stuck in here. Maybe he wants to do the next tasting in November with us here. You come in as a special guest.
Yes, absolutely. You should.
You're stuck, sure. Right? You are on our 15-kilometer radius, and you're working, so you be allowed to get out. You want to come in here and do the tasting from here with us?
Done. Count me in. Done.
Signed. Awesome. Good. Signed. We got the word. We get Henry next time here.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Henry, thank you so much, Ryan, for joining. Keep enjoying these gins. Applewood is just such a sensational distillery, one which we are going to have a plethora of on.
I love the little bottles. They're so cute. They should be Japanese. They are like amazing.
They're just so good for showcasing amazing Australian botanicals. I'm so sad that we are through our Fingerlime batch, because Fingerlimes are one of my favourite botanicals, and alas, they're no longer there. But we'll have to organise a little bit more of that in the future. But we've got a good chunk of Applewood here, and we're super excited for everyone to be able to come in and try it. And
so it's 8:24. We need to. Remember, we need to go. We need we're tasting at 9.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Say a little bit of inside.
No, sorry.
Kick me along a little bit. Fair enough. So thank you, Henry, and let's jump over to the final spirit, and a spirit which is very, very special in so many bloody different ways, and I can't wait to talk about this spirit and discover it. And Sean's here now.
The man, the legend,
the man, the myth, Sean.
The myth, the everything.
And we've got the amazing Jennifer from Never Never Distillery. How are you, Sean?
Mate, no worries. I'll follow Henry. No problem. That was friggin' ridiculous. Excellent. That's okay. I'll try and not talk about all of the incredible stuff that he's mentioned. It's a pleasure to be here, guys.
We'll leave him for last next time. You want? We'll leave him for last.
Oh my god! I've got to follow him and his hat. It's just like it's just like.
What? We just made.
I got 2 pictures. That's all I got.
Someone quickly get me a hat.
Thanks for having me. If I'm talking quiet, it's because my 2-year-old son is asleep in the next room. And if I suddenly do that, it's because my wife has just come through the door saying, "Shut the fuck up." So that may happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey man, thanks for joining again.
Mate, my pleasure. Thanks for having me. And this is fun, right? Like the Jennifer isn't something that I thought I'd be doing tastings of in this sort of format, to be honest. It's for a start, it's not a gin. So if anybody's picking it up and kind of going, oh, this smells a bit different, doesn't smell like everything else, it's absolutely a very, very different kind of product, because we've fashioned it, I guess, on a traditional Genever, which is where we get the name from. We can't call it a Genever here in Australia because it's not made within the particular sort of Western European states that define what a Jennifer is. But we called it Jennifer because fuck it, we like to have a bit of fun with it. And it's
Jenny.
Yeah,
call it Jenny. Yeah, sure, absolutely. We've got so many different cocktail nicknames for it. Jenny on the block is literally just Jenny on ice. That's a good one. Jennifer Martinez. Sounds like a Spanish Latino, but it's just Jennifer Martinez. So Jenny. It works.
I knew a Jenny. Sorry, I just did you? He just had a there. Sean, tell everyone what is Geneva. Just if everyone doesn't know, there will be some people here that may not know what Geneva is and how this is.
In some ways related to gin.
Sure. Yeah. I'll give you a little bit of background on it first, because this was born out of, anyone know, so there's a lot of people on this line who know who Fred Siggins is. Fred Siggins is a really good friend of mine, and I've been lucky enough to get drunk with him many times. He's currently working for Adelaide Hills, who used to work for Sullivan's Cove. And one time we were talking about, wouldn't it be fun to collaborate on a Jennifer? A Jennifer is effectively a malt-based spirit that's flavored with botanicals. It's kind of like the granddaddy of gin. Back when, effectively you've got the Dutch that were producing a large production of spirit, back in the sort of mid 1600s. They were producing Genever with literal gay abandon, shipping it around the country, around the world on the back of the Dutch East India Company. It was a very, very popular spirit of its time. The English got hold of it through King Willie, who basically sat on the throne. He was a Dutch king. He disposed of the potential Scottish Catholic, which was James. And basically what he wanted to do was bring with him all his love of all things Dutch. Brought carrots, he brought those weird waffles, and he also brought Genever. And Genever quickly was picked up, if you like, by the Brits. They started to clean it up a little bit as the centuries passed on, and what it ended up with is gin. But what you're tasting here is basically a combination of spirit that's produced by Sullivan's Cove. Yep. So they're award-winning single malt, effectively their their grain base. And we've then redistilled it with our award-winning botanicals. So the idea was in 2014, Sullivan's Cove won World's Best Single Malt Whiskey at the World Whiskey Awards. In 2019, Southern Strength Gin won World's Best Classic Gin at the World Gin Awards. So we thought, let's put them together like some weird Frankenstein's child. And the result is a very cereal forward style of, I guess, hybrid spirit. It's not a gin, it's not a Jennifer, it's somewhere in between. There's a lot of fun. It's definitely a richer variant of a gin style. But if you like whiskey, there's lots of crossover cocktails that you can work with if you can get a bottle of it, because there's bugger all of it.
That,
and you guys have got quite a lot of it.
What you were just saying earlier and saying that is like, how after Henry's presentation, what do you do? How do you come up? Oh, no, I just grabbed the best whiskey distillery in Australia.
Yeah.
To
match with the world's best gin.
Match with the world's best gin, botanicals. And then
pretty much
that's like, Henry, come back tomorrow.
It is sensational.
That's like,
on Sean's point.
Henry's walking.
Henry's out.
No, this is gonna, we can do the Casa de Vinos.
Keep going. Yeah. On Sean's point there, this is a gin that makes it an absolute cracking highball. We've been playing around with it a bit, and we're huge Sullivan's Cove fans as well as Never Never fans. So for me, this is just like two of my favorite distilleries coming together. I'm like exploding. But this makes an awesome highball. And I would suggest if you're able to get a bottle of it, it's definitely worth trying it with a little bit of ginger ale, ginger beer, any typical highball drinks. A sensation, the Fever Tree, just traditional ginger ale with this is awesome. But today, what I'm going to do with it is put a little bit of the refreshingly light, because this tasting particularly want to maintain a little bit of the flavors of this Sullivan's Cove new make blended with these awesome Never Never botanical profiles. So I'm going to put a little bit of the Fever Tree refreshingly light Indian and pop a lemon in there as well. And that is going to be an absolutely sensational time. Trish and Sean obviously have got some history, go way back. So it's probably enough talking that we've done, Jose.
Back on the day, Trish and Sean were probably one of the biggest hospitality dynamic duo, and like a bit like Batman and Robin. Yes, I would like to see Trish.
Definitely Robin in that situation, I think.
Yes, she's 100% Batman. even she's the Batman. But I would like to hear Trish's like, what's your take on this, which is like mind-blowing spirit, right? It's like, you don't know, you're off every category, and you're like, just love it. You just want to drink more.
Well, I can see what Sean has done there, and I'm not going to steal his thunder because this is really cool, and I'm going to let Sean talk through that. But what I will say, obviously, to talk about the mixing component, so there's a cocktail called John Collins, which is the Geneva Tom Collins, rather than with Old Tom Gin, and it's basically like, Geneva, lemon, sugar, soda water. So I would really love to see this one in a John Collins, a long, refreshing format. But otherwise, with our lemon tonic, I think could be really cool to try. And great call out, Jose, on your ginger ale, ginger beer mixes. Anything that goes well with that sort of multi-grain base is just absolutely fabulous. But Sean, over to you, because I love that picture that you had up.
Look, the way that it is consumed, someone said mixing Geneva, exactly. It's not usually mixed. I do have some amazing, there's some amazing cocktails that I've worked. It makes an incredible cruster. A lot of the nerdy bartenders in the room will be, it's a simple drink, right? It's like gin, it's traditionally cognac, citrus, control sugar, and then your sugar rim. But again, you can kind of play around with a lot of those styles of recipe, if you like. It makes an amazing kind of representation of that. It makes an amazing Martinez. Because obviously that's it there. Martinez is built off the back of a Manhattan recipe, or a Manhattan should be exactly built off the back of a Martinez recipe. So again, it works with vermouth, it works with bitters, but let's be honest, it works as the way God intended, which is a cold shot. This is the Kopstoot. Kopstoot is where you actually have if anyone's been to Holland, Has anyone been to the Netherlands? You will get this kind of experience in lots of different bars where you have a measure of your Genever. You have to lean your head over. I'm not going to do it because I don't have the glassware here, but you have to lean your head over it, hands behind your back, and then you put your head over the top of the glass, and then you shoot it back in one. And you have a sip of the beer.
You can do that now.
No, he fears his wife is walking in because he's talking too loud and binds him with his hands back and a glass on his mouth. And then he's like, "You're out." Wake up the children with a glass of Geneva. Who's like, "You're working, right?" Yeah. No, but saying so, this is all about mouthfeel. Like the mouthfeel on these is like unbelievable.
Yeah.
If there was an umami kind of representation, is this. It's like makes you salivate. It's salty, briny, and sweetness, and it's just like I just want more and use more.
I'll ask you, Jose, because you have tasted a lot of Sutherland's Cove whiskies. It's you had a couple of Sutherland's Cove casks,
and it's my favorite Australian distillery.
Do you find it interesting, like the little idiosyncrasies of the new make that you normally find in whiskey? Are they popping through in this Jennifer?
No, actually don't. Look, on the single barrel regime that I have had in the past, it kind of has a bit of that spirit thing, which for me could be a bit of the only thing that I see in here is like that sort of banana aldehydic richness that Sullivan's Cove had. But then there's a ton of botanicals on the nose that go just on the sides, because I'm like kind of confused when I taste it. It's really interesting. It's like I want to drink more. It's almost like whiskey, but it's like, what is this? It's not whiskey. It's just lacking on the tannins, but it's kind of tricking my mouth.
It's like a hybrid spirit.
It does have that sort of it's not cola, but what's called the cola nut?
Coconuts?
No, the cola nut. It's cola nut.
Maybe Henrietta.
The sort of banana aldehydic, which is just amazing, rich. Then the botanicals follow through. It's so well balanced. I just love the spirit.
It's cracking. You've done a
massive shout out to Heather, who produced the base spirit. Heather Tillet's one of probably the most leading representations. There's so many incredible female distillers. We're sitting here in the presence of Applewood as well. Again, that are out there doing their amazing stuff. Heather is responsible for the liquid base, if you like, and then Tim, our head distiller, is effectively responsible for the botanical mix. So it is an interesting combination. It's a bit different to your usual Genever styles. Genever usually includes other bases like rye and also corn, and that does add complexity. In this instance, you're just looking with malt. There is a small amount of triple juniper in there as well. So again, it kind of stretches out and backs up that kind of flavor. And also actually amplified the malt, which was a really interesting sort of component. When we did it just with the malt, we found it to be the botanical started to dominate. When you added a little bit of the actual triple juniper gin to it, what it does is it actually opens it up, and that's really pumps up that malt character as well.
You again are another of those guys that we were talking earlier today. That innovate with things like this,
and with the Dark Series releases.
And Dark Series, and another distillery like Sean. Come on, what's coming? We know
we don't have time.
You got aces on every. You got probably aces on every single sleeve, feet, hands, whatever. What's the ace? What can you tell us? Can you,
apart from this absolute ace?
No, this is like
this might be the biggest ace up the sleeve.
No, it's like very. I'm surprised the time of the year they're releasing this, because then it's like Christmas to go like, oh, well, hang on, they released this right now. What bomb are they gonna drop for Christmas?
Oh, you guys are smart. Hello. You guys are clever. So we've got two more releases before Christmas, which is it's ridiculous. We shouldn't do that. It's a dumb thing to do.
No, you're sitting it's like shooting your foot. It's like if we do this now for October, like, we're gonna come up in December.
So we released, some of you might be remember Argo. Argo Gin was released with a really amazing Singapore bar called Argo. Argo Gin is actually being released for sale after we have a exclusivity period, which Argo effectively stipulated, which is completely fine. That's being released in January. That's an incredible gin that's been mature. It's basically a gin that it's triple juniper that we integrated with tea botanicals, which we then barrel matured in a Chardonnay barrel that had been rapid infused with Mancino vermouth, and then left that sit for about 3 weeks. So ultimately what we tried to do was create a mouthfeel and vermouth character that would make a futuristic martini for the Argo bar. If you like martinis, the next 3 months is, that's the only one I can really talk about because it's already been released. There's 2 more that are specifically built around the martini serve. One which we're announcing next week, so I can't talk about it just yet. But for those of you who got your gin packs, I mentioned someone had a gin pack recently that had the sample in it. That will be available. And we're also releasing another incredible liquid at the end of November. All of them are built around martinis. So if you're a fan of martinis, if you're a fan of our dark series, it's pretty much just what I want to drink at Christmas, to be fair. It was a bit selfish on my behalf, but fuck it, I like martinis, especially when they're free, which is what I get. So that's what we did.
That's it, Sean. And so much good stuff coming out. Never is another one of those distilleries which I come from a hospitality background, and you can't help but be in a hospital and absolutely love Never Distilling, because the way you approach things, the care, the passion from you guys, and the way it sort of permeates through everything you do is infectious. All of your gins are amazing. The Ginache has just been and we've got a few bottles of that here, so we'll definitely have the Ginache.
You've got the 2020, don't you? You got the original. Yeah. You got the dark. You got the dark series.
Left.
The 2020 went like absolutely nothing else. Actually, the fastest selling gin in Casa de Vinos history was the 2020 Ginache. It literally went.
We sold that real fast. We don't have any more of that. I'd probably buy a bottle, to be honest, because I don't even have one in my history stock, which is bad.
I reckon we probably have some in storage. It's there's so many stuff that we got there. I don't even know what we got. I know Jonas
do a swap.
Finding
we'll do a swap.
You keeping these? All these. There's a case of these.
I don't want to sell any. I don't know for me.
So we say, and also we would love to host you next time.
Yes,
you're allowed to come around and bring a lot of your experimental stuff, and
absolutely,
we as we say, we will continue. This audience has been great, and there's heaps of people interstate. They are not in lockdown. Some that are, some are not, but we will continue doing these tastings even when we are open. But we will open up for tastings in store too, in person. So we will continue doing both, and we will never leave our interstate customers for online tastings behind. So, all
for one and one for all.
Exactly.
Sean, thank you so much for joining again tonight and being part of it, and allowing us as the Casa de Vinos Gin Club a little window into Never. You're always so amazing with your time, and to allow us to try only 900 bottles of this.
There's none of it. There's so little of it. It's all done. So we sold about 400 bottles to subscribers. And then we've already kind of gone through about 300 or 400 up at the hill. So there's like a tiny bit with our distributors, and then the rest of it is with you guys. So I don't know how many bottle shops are going to get any, but it was supposed to be a bit of fun working alongside friends of ours in the industry. It's never going to happen again because it's way too expensive to make, but we love it.
So kind of, if I just buy whatever I can of you and then I put it in a barrel, kind of how I will have like Sullivan's Cove.
Never,
Casa de Vinos whiskey, but because they have botanicals, kind of big.
I think we've only got 4 bottles, so it might be a very small cask.
We just get a little cask, we put in a barrel, we 15 years on it.
It'll still be Jennifer, which is
it will still be Jennifer.
Just barrel matured.
it's Dutch Sullivan's Cove. It's like it's still like a
Jenny, or microwave Jenny. It's a castle reference. Very, very niche, but there might be one person who gets that. This is just an absolutely sensational, and like honestly, I don't want to skip over this too much because this is super poignant. This is one that I'm going to take one home and like put it on my mantelpiece and keep for a long time.
They are for Casa de Vinos.
No. This is take note. Because this is super poignant. This is like one of the gin distilleries at the forefront of distilling in Australia, with one of the whiskey distilleries that is the forefront. Momentous, exceptional, and as Sean says as well, won't happen again. So absolutely stunning, beautiful, not gin, but an amazing spirit. And you know, where would gin be without Geneva? Probably might not exist. So sensational. Thanks for coming in, Sean, and letting us try that one tonight.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me, guys. What a pleasure. Thank you to everybody around Australia who's signed in, and all my other distillers who have been so gracious with their time. And so I've learnt so much. The gins are amazing.
Thanks, man.
It's been awesome. So
great tasting.
Like honestly, South Australia.
This deck, this is like
just like blows me absolutely out of the water every time we go there. Of course, the gin tour keeps on rolling on. The way we're going to do it is we're going to jump to Queensland in November, and then the Christmas tasting in December. And the Christmas tasting, just quietly, is like looking like one of the most amazing Christmas tastings that we've done so far.
I heard someone distill a deer.
Yes. Yeah.
I heard someone distill a deer.
A deer.
An elf. A whole deer.
I heard Santa Claus might have been in there.
Yeah.
There's some amazing ones coming there. In terms of Queensland, let's talk Queensland, Jose. So on the website there now, if you want to jump and grab it, you can use code Juniper tonight, and then I'll get you 10% off the next one, the Queensland tasting. You won't see the distilleries there yet, but we've got some amazing ones joining us. So we're actually joined for the first time by a distillery called Wildflower Distillery. Another one that we haven't had in before, but are amazing. We're joined by, up in the top end, well, not Northern Territory, but at the top end of Queensland, Wild River Distillery. We're trying their Bull Gin.
We love Wild River.
We tried their Ghost Gin last time.
That's awesome.
Stunning. We're also joined by a big favourite up there, Wolf Lane, with their tropical gin. And another couple of absolutely awesome distilleries that I'll put up there on the website and the Facebook page in the next couple of days when we lock them all in. But the Queensland tasting is amazing. Queensland's, it's almost like the Texas of Australia, I reckon, in terms of the distilling scene. It's like there's so much just amazing stuff coming out of Queensland, and there's lots of people, particularly on smaller scales, doing some really incredible stuff, and we've got a couple of those.
Is there like the Young and Rebels?
Yeah. The other one I just remembered is Lacey's Hill.
We love Lacey's Hill.
Have just released the most sensational. It's called Moreton Bay Sunrise Gin, and it needs to be tried to be believed. So this is one that they've just released as well. Obviously, we've tried their a couple of their gins in various tastings before, their lemon myrtle, etc., and they're just so gorgeous. So Queensland tasting. It'll have to do a lot to jump up to the SA level here, but having a look at these spirits, I think it's going to give it a real nudge because some of them are amazing. So please do get involved in that one because it's going to be stunning as well. And if you're on Facebook, get onto the Casa de Vinos Gin Club, and so you can get all the updates and all of the things.
Exactly. And again, we're still a month off, but believe us, we do our best to get the packs on time. Sometimes, they promise we got these products that are like so they've been released so recently that for us to get them and then repack, make the samples and send them out, it takes a little bit of takes
a bit of time.
Any delay, it's like
that's why it's been amazing how understanding everyone has been.
So and we appreciate that
for that, and for those watching on the recording after the fact after tonight, thank you so much for that as well. Jose, let's go around the grounds quickly and check in on the amazing people that have been with us tonight. I think I heard that Hugh ducked off, probably was like pretty busy checking
that background. Come on, it's like who wouldn't have?
Absolutely.
Look at these two rich raps hasn't had haircuts in like bloody 3 months.
No, if anyone,
I know hanging out with them.
If anyone wants a job, a prerequisite is you need to have hairdressing experience.
Yeah.
So thank you, Q, who's just left. Christian? Is Christian?
I'm here.
How are you, brother? How have the gins fared you?
I'm alive still. I haven't passed out just yet, but I had to crack open another one because I finished all the ones you guys sent. So appreciate everyone. No, I'm actually no. It's another gin. It's a gin and sparkling water with a bit of raspberry from Part Time Rangers. So,
oh wow,
keeping the gin theme going tonight.
That's the spirit, Christian. We'll have to have a shot of limoncello.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining, man. And Needle and Pin Spirits, you guys are doing some incredible things, and I can't wait to have you guys over here and for us to go over there. And it's amazing when we do these because we get to learn about new distilleries which we haven't worked with as much before. And you guys are now going to be an absolute mainstay here at Casa de Vinos because you're doing some amazing stuff. So cheers, brother. Thank you so much for joining in tonight.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you. And we'll come down and have a drink very shortly.
Absolutely. Let's have several. Barossa Distilling Co., where we're joined tonight by Zach, my man. Zach, thank you so much for coming in tonight. And it's been great to meet you for the first time in terms of Casa de Vinos tasting.
No worries at all, guys. Thanks so much for having me, and I hope there's many more to come. It's been a really, really good night with a lot of good gins. Stoked to be here. Thank you.
Absolutely. And we can't wait to get a few of those fancy cans and have a little bit of a whirl at that gin you've got going on in the barrel there. You're on top of it and doing some amazing things. So salute to you. Cheers, man. And we can't wait to keep it rolling. Next, we're heading over to Henry from Applewood, of course. Truly an absolute legend. And to try the Alpine tonight, basically when we teed up this tasting, and when we always do them up, Henry always lets us be almost the first to try some of these amazing gins from Applewood. So thank you, Henry, for your access and for everything you do. Cheers, brother.
Well, thank you, guys. And I can't wait to come down to see your shop, the new store. It's going to be really, really exciting. And if it's any consolation to Sean at all, without this hat, I have no personality. So don't stress. Don't worry.
Henry, again, next time you're here with us.
Yes.
And we would love to have you here, as a great friend of the house. So thank you again for joining, for presenting, for and transmit this to Brendan in the same way. It's like thank you for again being another leader in the industry with innovation and refreshing the industry all the time. Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Henry, you are a superstar. I'm pouring myself another little gin for the finish here, Jose, because some ships in the harbour safe, but that's not what ships are built for. No. So lastly, of course, as well, we were just speaking to Sean. Trish, we're not going to forget Trish, but Sean, thank you so much for coming in tonight. The Jennifer is amazing, and you guys, your ability to keep on producing these amazing dark series releases is amazing. So cheers, Sean.
Yeah.
Thanks very much, guys. And Henry, I want to eat snacks out of your hat. I want to eat like a snack out of your hat. It looks incredible. Thanks so much for having me, guys. It's been an amazing night. I appreciate it very much.
You know what, John? Should we do like a gin reunion? Like Survivor has the Survivor show, and then like got their reunion, and then like the Real Housewives or where it's like they got that show and then they got a reunion. We should get when we are open like all these guys and Henry and so on.
Yeah.
And do like the gin and that reunion here where like everyone bitches each other and we're like, hey, and then probably we close door and then that obliterated.
What does everyone think about it?
Oh, sorry, that part I just let myself drink a bit. But,
I love the idea of a gin reunion.
Gin reunion.
Gin review. Let's make it all happen, bring everyone together. That sounds like the absolute plan. And Sean, again, thank you so much. And of course, Trish,
the gin goddess, the tonic goddess.
Every time you join in, it's just an amazing part of the night. And I don't know if you'll be able to do these without you. You're an absolute legend, Trish. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. As we say at Fever Tree, 3/4 of your drink is a mix and mix of the best, and that is you guys. So thank you so much for mixing with me tonight, guys. It's been awesome. Gin's a killer. Love your new shop. Love seeing so many familiar faces. Thank you so much. What a way to kick off the weekend.
Thank you, Trish. You are amazing, and these pairings tonight have been exceptional. The tonics are the best out there, and the gins have been some of the most amazing I've tried in a long time as well. So I hate leaving at any point in this tasting because I love these so much, and I'm always just.
I want to kick on. We have no music, we got no music, no smoke machine, no disco lights. But trust me,
it is a thing that we do have to do. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining in tonight, and we'd love to see as many of you as possible in the Queensland tasting, which has been released, and you get 10% off on Christmas tasting coming up.
Exactly. Yep.
That's going to be absolutely huge because some of the whispers I'm getting of the gins that are in the works and what we're going to get in there, it hasn't been launched yet, but when we do, that tasting is going to be huge. So don't sleep on that one. And these bloody sensational gins, get yourself a bottle of one of them, and check out these distilleries, subscribe to their mailing list, subscribe to Fever Tree's mailing list. We love everybody that's been a part of this. It's been amazing.
And it's like all these distilleries, again, as I said, always, they are leaders.
Yeah.
Support the leaders, not just the followers, right? You That's support the guys that it's actually, like these guys are the ones that lead by example.
Yeah.
Right. So with people like this, without leading, we would have been, just a commercial random land.
Yeah.
Support guys
support
like
these
this.
Guys. And it's been amazing. And we're going to continue on and polish off a few more gins here. And I hope you've got a couple at home and can do the same. Thank you so much for joining in tonight. It's been an amazing tasting. And we hope to see you again soon in a future one. And before we go, of course, we've got to do the toast. Glasses up,
yes,
everybody. And the Casa de Vinos toast is: some ships are wooden ships, but those ships might sink. The best ships are friendships, and to those ships we drink. Salute, everybody.
Salute,
Happy
everyone.
Friday. Enjoy it. Enjoy these amazing things.
Enjoy the weekend.
Can't wait to see you again soon. I'm going to keep drinking, Jose.
Yes. Take care. Bye-bye.